Hey guys. I have a lot of thoughts in my head right now. I just can't. Haven't been able to find the words that I really want to convey. It's all jumbled up in there. And I think that's a lot of people's problem. And now it has come upon me. Me, of all people, right? Me. Me, the person that's always talking, the person that's always sharing and venting and content creating and expressing myself and able to articulate and go ahead and verbalize, get it out. Sometimes even that falls upon me where I can't get it out. And I know if that ever happens to me, I'm as good as dead. When it gets that fucking far, if I can't get it out from rotting in there, it will kill me. I have to do something with it. I always have. And I don't do like a lot of these people. Hey, whatever, to each their own. I don't personally give a fuck who does drugs and who doesn't. I'm not anti-drug. I don't fucking do drugs. My fucking system can't handle it. I have a goddamn anxiety disorder. Had it all my life. And ever since I smoked a shit ton of pot and smoked crack maybe 3 times when I was 18, that was it. I've never done drugs. Don't care for it. It scares me, number 1. I'm phobic. I have an anxiety disorder. Number 2, my system could not take it. Number 3, I've just never really been interested in doing them. I've seen what the fuck it has done to my family. Jesus Christ, I can't look anywhere without it somewhere. Went all my life without it. Coffee and cigarettes, pretty much. So, anybody who's thinking that, you can rest yourself. That's not my problem. Now, I did fuck around and my family curse caught up with even me. Squeaky clean little old me, the only one that's usually in the whole group that doesn't do any drugs. I did drink quite a bit for years. Vodka was my drink of choice. My dad had me drinking that when I was like 12 years old, and one time he almost killed me. He gave me so much vodka I was turning blue around the mouth one night as he tucked me into bed. But that's a story for another day. I grew up and I still continue to drink vodka on occasion. I like it. It's a good drink. I don't drink anymore. I just lost the taste for it. I've got so much in here and in here. See, that's the thing. I need to make a video about, I know they're doing a lot of research on drug addiction and genetics and how all of these substance abuse disorders come about and what's all that about and what really causes it. I could give some insight into that, coming from a family of every single fucking one of us have the addiction gene. And being on all sides of it, being a caretaker of addicts and exposed to them since I was my earliest memories as a baby, and taking care of people like that, being around people like that, and becoming addicted myself later on in life. But yeah, for the most part, no. Never did stimulants, never fucked with anything like that. My system cannot handle it. So if that's what you're thinking. But yes, at some point I would like to make a video and contribute some of my perspectives on addiction and substance abuse. I have some theories on it that make sense to me, based on my own experience becoming addicted to something later in life. Now, here's where I got hung up. Never was a substance abuser, never was a user, till I was 38 years old. This is like my kids are grown and, okay, I go to the dentist, I have 3 abscessed teeth, I had to have them pulled, and they give me a bottle of opiates. Oh shit. I've never taken these fucking things before. I had gotten prescriptions for years from dentists and thrown them in the trash. I didn't need them. I never even really took a Tylenol for my fucking teeth when they were pulled. I didn't, that was me. I'm very phobic like that. I don't like pills. Honest to God. But yes, for some reason, that particular year, it was back in 2015, I was terrified of the pain I had just gone through. I was scared it was going to start hurting again. And I took one of the pills. It was hydrocodone. And I don't know. From the moment it landed in my bloodstream, I became addicted right then and there. Is that not insane? Because I had not been a substance abuse person. No. Way too phobic. But I always wondered, was it my fears and phobias that kept me in check? That kept me away from it? And the fact that I had kids and I was way too phobic? So that's what kept me safe? But if I ever fucked around and found something I wasn't scared of, was there a possibility I could become addicted to it? Yes. Yes, that's why it was a good thing I was phobic, and a good thing I stayed away from things like that all those years. I was around a lot of shit, man. Nope. Nah. Just didn't want it. I didn't like the feeling of being out of control. Some people beg for that. They live their whole fucking life to get out of their body, and my motherfucking ass is fighting to stay in my body, fighting to hold on to myself. I've had enough trauma. I've had enough done to me. I had to leave my body enough as a kid. You have a choice when you grow up abused. You have a choice when you grow up traumatized. You can fucking fight to stay. You can fight to stay whole. You can fight to heal and overcome and not be fragmented. Or you can split out like some people do. It's too fucking traumatic. It fucks up their ego. It fucks up their self-esteem, and they split out. They become fucking fragmented. They don't know their own identity. They use a false identity. It's all fucking whack. Part of their brain doesn't develop right, and there we see narcissistic personality disorders, high-level narcissism, and things like that. They don't outgrow some shit. They don't emotionally mature. They choose not to heal. A lot of them simply just choose not to heal. They choose to go straight to drugs and alcohol at a very young age. So by the time they're 40 or 50, they don't even know who the fuck they are without substances. They have no clue how to function in life or with people without substances. And it is terrifying for me to have run across someone like that. And I know several people like that, and my heart fucking bleeds for them. I try to understand, but god damn, you know, it hurts. It's like, wow, okay. Trust me, my heart fucking feels for everybody very deeply. But it is what it is, you know? After a while, I understand that not everyone is fortunate enough to have interventions, and that pisses me off. Not everyone's fortunate enough to have people intervening, you see? And I ran across somebody who seemed to have slipped through the cracks. I fucking cared and loved this person that much that his own childhood ate me up. His own pain, his own whatever the fuck ever happened to him. Not only was I carrying mine, but yes, that's what I do. I'm done doing it now. I'm to a new phase in life. That was the last of that. If that didn't work out on a healthy level, I knew that would be the last. That was the ending chapter of all the toxicity, the drug users, the curse of the alcoholic, my father the alcoholic. That shit's followed me all of my life. Repeating patterns, of course we know. When you're traumatized by an alcoholic, that's what you're going to attract to all of your damn life. Okay, I saw it coming and didn't want to do it. Didn't want to go down that road. I was very aware of it. You're going to get your shit straight, because I can't stay forever if you're not. We can't be like this. And I waited almost 6 fucking years for any sign of this person trying, at least trying. I even accepted the damn alcoholism. I accepted things I would normally never accept on a person. Anyway, I wouldn't do any of it again. But that's kind of who I used to be all of my life. Yes, like attracts like. Yes, everything is 2 in 1, okay? Everything is dual. Not just one thing. Everything is good and bad. I have to live that way, and I see everything that way. Everything is good and bad, and if I were to explain it to you, it'd blow your fucking wig back. But everything is. Everything that comes to you in this life is bringing you good things, enjoyable things, things you need, things you're learning from, all kinds of good shit, right? And at the same fucking time, that shit might turn bad. And at the same time, it might be bringing you some bad, upsetting shit, traumatizing shit. Everything on this earth has a pro and a con. Now, some situations are more pronounced than others, where the bad totally overshadows the good. One overshadows the other. Yeah, that can happen, but you get what I'm saying. Nothing is all good or all bad. So in that last relationship, I was getting a lot. I was loving someone completely and profoundly deep. On many levels. I was aware of all of the levels and all of the different roles that were occurring. And the toxic ones, I was hoping to work them out of the way eventually and just get to the more healthier, more deeply connected, mature adult level. More healed level for both of us. But that didn't happen. In my mind, it looked reasonable to me. I thought I was doing a good, authentic, and genuine thing. I wasn't trying to stay with someone toxic. I wasn't blind. I wasn't stupid. I wasn't under some spell. Of course, it was always there that, okay, if something doesn't change, this is just getting worse and worse, and you're going to have to do something. I lived with that fucking fear and that pain all the time that I was going to lose that person one way or the other. But it's just like death. You think you're prepared to lose somebody. You think you're prepared, but you're not. Anyway, drug addiction. As I said in the beginning, do your thing, man. I want to clear the air on that. I don't give a fuck. I am not Little Miss Righteous. I don't give two shits about people doing drugs and drinking alcohol. If I want to have a drink, I'm going to have a drink. If I wanted to do drugs, I would do them. I became addicted to opiates at 38 years old. By accident. That fucking addiction genetic was in there. Yep, kicked off just like that. It was shocking to me. I just kept taking them. It's like, oh, this is what everybody's talking about. It happened, but in my mind, that was temporary, see? Because here was my deal. I had a life, an identity, and a personality without drugs. Here's the difference for the research people. Long before I ever got addicted, I had already properly grown. Other than certain parts of the trauma I endured and parts of my emotional growth took years longer. Parts of my brain, certain parts of you get stunted when you're abused and traumatized in childhood. Depends on what type of abuse it was. Those areas within you will not be as mature and grown as the other areas, okay? But if you keep working in therapy and your own research and your own dedication, you'll finally get there where everything is finally kind of mellowed out with you and you have balanced yourself out, and by 40 I was pretty much almost there. I had one more fucking thing to go through, and that was that relationship. I don't know why it turned out like that. That is not what I expected. That's not how I wanted it to be. But yes, I became addicted to the pills. I'm going to tell that story in its entirety one day, how it happened, what I went through. But, like I say, I had a life before pills. And that's the difference. That really makes a difference, because in my mind, it was temporary. I was like, oh shit, I'm going to do this for a little bit. I'm going to see what it's like. I'm going to see what all the fucking fuss is about. You know, after I took a couple of them and I felt what it felt like, I was like, yeah, I'm going to have another one of these. And I, you know, the usual addict shit. Oh, this makes me a nicer person. Oh, this makes me more calm. Oh, it makes me feel a certain way. Okay. And then it went from there. But I never sought out drugs to cope with life. Never. I sought out a therapist, running and begging for her help. Not when I was a teenager. They had to chase me down and lock my ass up and court order me to go to her. But as I got older in my adult years, I kept on going. I'm glad I had her. Begging, please help me, God. I'm having fucking panic attacks. Okay, so that is where I went to learn coping skills. Plus, the behavioral modification and institutions I was in as a young girl. Oh, how my partner hated anything to do with behavioral modification. The person who needed it the most. Yes, hated it. Hated any program that had to do with behavior mods. Because you needed them so bad. I never in my life. Okay. But that's the difference, okay? From my perspective and my experience. That shit happened to me. I went through 3 years of it. But I had this training as a young girl and a young woman, and I had the therapy and all this training about coping skills and working on a lot of different things for my emotional growth, my identity, my self-esteem, and it took a lot of fucking years. It didn't happen overnight. I didn't go to therapy every day. Hell, I didn't even go every week regularly for some years. But off and on, for a period of about 15, 20 years maybe, off and on, there were periods of time where I would go pretty regularly for a while and learn a lot. I needed it. And do a lot of study on my own. So I had that before I became an addict, before I got addicted to substance. That made a difference, because once I did become addicted, I was like, oh, fuck, this is going to be temporary, because I know this shit is stupid. I know this shit either ends up dead or in prison. This is some dumb fuckery. This won't be long for me, because I know where this shit's going. It's dead end. And I have too great of a life. I have a great time. I have a great life, great kids, great pets, great family, great ambition, great motivation. I've worked hard on my damn self. This is the last thing I need. I've already seen what has happened to my dad, my brothers, my fucking family. I've already seen this bullshit. And you're getting on into middle age. You do not want to be withdrawing or having to recover from something like this. So you better make it quick, homegirl. That was literally my thoughts when I first became addicted. That I'm going to do it for a little while, you know, see what this is like. After I felt that first feeling, that first pull. That first pill addicted me. It did. I was hooked right then. I was going to take that whole bottle. And then the next bottle and some more shit. And we're going to talk about some more shit. Yeah, it went down like that, okay? Not that it's funny, but it shocked me. It shocked me that something could do that to me. I know people that would never happen to. My mother has had injuries before. She's had surgeries before. She's had entire bottles of oxys and whatever the fuck. She didn't get addicted. She took one, maybe two, you know. She took them as directed. And there's no way that putting one pill in her body made her go, oh, shit. Damn. I see. Okay. All right. I need another one of these. Just for this purpose. What the fuck came over me? I had never been like that. Never. I think what it was the perfect They call it the perfect storm. When several different things in your life line up just perfectly to bring about. Whereas if one of those things had not been there, one of those elements had not been involved, the event might not have happened. It's like the perfect star alignment. I think it was the perfect storm. Not only were my teeth hurting, and it couldn't have just been biological. Like I swallowed the pill and bang. At first feeling, I'm like, yeah, okay, I'm going to keep doing this. Because I'd never been that way before. Just a few years before that, in the hospital having kids, or anytime they had to give me narcotics, drugs, I was like, oh God, no, please don't give that to me. Oh God, when's it going to wear off? I'm having a panic attack. I'm going to be sick. Ugh, no, please don't give me the drugs. Oh God, no, please, I'm scared. It's going to make me feel funny. When's it going to wear off? I don't want to feel like this. That's how I always was. What the fuck happened to me in 2015 that made my brain different? And I like talking about this and sharing things like this because it's good. It's good to learn from. It's good for research purposes, you know, because people are always trying to get into the minds of drug addicts and what's causing this, what makes them tick, what makes, you know, and I remember that. So that was my physical reaction. It was instant. Whereas in the past, no, I'd had morphine before in the hospital. I heard Demerol in the hospital before. I had a few things. Never recreationally. I take shit like that. But also at that time, I was not completely over the death of my father, who was also an opiate addict. Also, I was involved in a very bad relationship situation at that time. I know. I'm embarrassed to even bring it up. I really am. My history, attracting people like that. I know. It's because of my deep-rooted traumas. And these things had to play out in my life, and I wish they hadn't. But I am where I am now, and it won't be happening anymore. But I had heartbreak before. I had hurt feelings before. I never ran out to get some pills to handle it. That's why I was telling you. I had coping skills. I had therapy. I had training. I had, certain strong parts of my identity long before I ever became addicted. A life that I loved and enjoyed, and passions and hobbies and all of those things. Pretty decent self-esteem that I had worked on. A lot of people do not have that. That is why they actually go to drugs. Okay, I'm going to get into that in a minute, that element of it. But this is actually supposed to be a whole nother video, my drug addiction story. But that's kind of what happened, okay? And I was involved in something very heartbreaking at the time. It was gutting. It was shocking. It's not that I was on a deeper level of love for this person. Not that person back then, but it was just the shock and the audacity of this fucking hillbilly, or whatever the fuck he was, this greasy, grimy, awful, just the awful treatment that just came from out of nowhere. I just didn't expect it. I had known this person as a kid and hadn't seen him in 20 years. And we started hanging out, got pretty close for a bit. But I believe that was the perfect storm, though. It wasn't because of him. It wasn't because of heartbreak that I went looking for opiates or had some opiates on hand and wanted to start taking them. And it wasn't just because of the teeth, and it wasn't just biological. I think it was, and it wasn't just, still mourning the death of my father, still weird about the death of my father. And when you lose a parent, it doesn't matter if y'all were close in the end, if you weren't close, whatever. A whole bunch of shit is going to come up for you. And there was something about it, you know, it was still surreal to me that he was gone. And it was almost like I was going down that same rabbit hole to see what they saw. My dad, my brothers, I was not part of the clique. I was not part of the druggy clique. I've always been rejected because of that. Because I'm not a fucking junkie. I don't like that shit. That's what I was trying to convey in the beginning of this. I don't give a damn if people do drugs. I am not anti, but I can't stand a junkie. Unless, you know why? If you can do your shit without bringing harm to anybody, without stealing from them, robbing them, manipulating them, stomping through the house in the middle of the night because you got to stay with them, just your very presence on those substances scares people. Do you know that? It annoys people. Just your very existence while you're high, or while you're withdrawing, or while you're drunk. Yes. Just you walking through the fucking room has everybody on eggshells. Your body language, your fucking energy, every damn bit of it. You're either always sick, always screaming and yelling like some little fucking kid. I don't like junkies. 24/7 strung out alcoholics or addicts. I don't give a fuck. If y'all can do that without hurting anybody else, ruining anybody else's day, putting all of your selfish energy all over somebody else, because junkies are very selfish. If you can do it all by yourself in your own little corner, then I don't have any problem with you. We're cool. Don't fuck with us about it. Don't fuck up our fucking life and our day and hate us because we want some fucking peace in our life. And we're not doing what you're doing to get it. We're struggling another way. Don't fucking hate on me for it. And that's what I've been through. That is what I've been through. I've been through hell over this very subject. Everywhere I look. That's exactly how I feel about it. Okay? I'm not anti. It's whatever. I know a lot of people that can do what they do and mind their own business. I know a lot of functioning addicts. Yep. Or a lot of people that just do a little shit. Whatever their little shit is, none of my business. I don't want to know about it. What I don't like is that extreme change in demeanor. Goodbye. Goodbye. I can't handle it. I don't like that shit. I don't like that extreme change in demeanor. If you could just do something and relax, go about your daily routine without everybody noticing how out of it you are or whatever, then you're good. Cool. But you know, it's hard for an addict not to hurt somebody. They're gonna hurt. Usually they're gonna hurt somebody. They're gonna use somebody. Somebody's going down in their path. They need enablers. Addicts can't function alone. Not junkies. Not extreme addicts. Now see, this is what I'm trying to get into here. I believe there are levels of severity to addiction. I believe addiction is sort of on a spectrum. Just like narcissism, just like codependency, just like several things. I think there are degrees of addiction. Because my addiction is different from other people's addictions. What they were addicted to. How many years they had behind that addiction. That really matters. Who they were before they were addicted. Did they have time to really develop and mature before they became addicted? Did their mind have time to mature? Everything. Did they have time to have a strong identity before they became addicted? That all matters, okay? It factors in big time. No, not all drug addicts are the same. Nope. All these people trying to throw it back and roll it back and look at what you're doing. Look what I'm doing. Not what you're doing. What you're doing is some whole other shit. What you're doing is fucked up. We're not. Sorry. And that's true. It's the way it is. Did I hurt people when I was addicted? Yes. Did I start seeing my life headed down the toilet quickly? Oh, yes. Did I start doing things to people or doing things to get the pills that I would never have usually done? Yes. That I regret all of that? Yes. That I've had to try to rebuild my life and make amends for? Absolutely I did. It is hard to be a drug addict and not fuck somebody over. Not do things that you wouldn't normally do. Therefore, it is very hard to have a healthy, loving, honest relationship when you're an addict. When you are in the full throes of a severe addiction, especially if you're a person who has had a lifelong history, you've basically been an addict since you were a child, teenager, very young-minded, all those years, and you're now in your 40s, that's where your brain's at. Your brain did not get much chance to continue developing without taking some breaks and getting some therapy and giving it some time to heal. And a lot of people don't know life before drugs. They don't know themselves. They don't know this world. They don't know anything but that. Okay, so it does make a difference, y'all. It really does. And I'm sorry, but I have been through hell with drug addicts and alcoholics. And that's it. The chapter has been closed. It finally closed this past month. And I'm just exhausted. I'm in shock about a lot of it. I'll have to clip this in a second because it's going to break in two parts if I don't. It's probably already going to break in two parts.